Good morning, guys. How are you doing? Actually, it's almost close to noon. It's almost 11 o'clock. I went to bed at 6:30 this morning. I'll tell you why. Quinn the mailman was telling me about this new show on Netflix. Well, it's not really new, but it's new to me because I haven't seen it yet. The Last Kingdom. It's like another type of Game of Thrones series, but not so much fantasy, but more medieval, you know, Vikings and that kind of stuff, which I normally don't like. But Game of Thrones I thought was great. Anyway, today I'm supposed to put together that 17.5 engine with a swapped out head and piston because I got my new gasket kits. But I'm on my way now to my Mercedes dealer because my car has been overdue for a state inspection, which is, you know, smog and all that stuff, you know, to get the sticker. And if you don't have an inspection sticker here in New York, you get pulled over or you park somewhere and a cop sees it, whatever, you'll get a ticket for an expired inspection sticker. So the inspection stickers, I had to, because of COVID, I didn't take it anywhere, you know, so it's been sitting in my driveway for a long time, and it's overdue for an oil change and the inspection sticker. So I'm headed over to my Mercedes-Benz dealer, which is 3 minutes away, whatever. And I got to get that thing done before I start working on any engines today. Man, oh man, I've only had like 3 hours sleep, but that's a great show on Netflix. Fantastic. Service B exceeded by 65 days. As you can see, I haven't driven my car in a long time. That's the state inspection sticker that you need, the red one. Changes color every year so you don't try to copy it. Got moss everywhere. Fortunately, when you take your car to Mercedes-Benz for a service, any kind of service, they always wash your car when you are done. So I'm getting a free car wash. Boy, oh boy, does it need it. Pretty sure everybody likes to hang out outside because this is what it's like to take your car into Mercedes. Go in and you pull up into this area here. So everybody's wearing a mask. I have to wait for my advisor to come. Fortunately, it's a good day today. Beautiful out, so I'm just gonna go sit outside, but I'm gonna show you the lounge area. Now I'm just walking into the showroom from the service area. It's very empty in here. I don't think too many people are thinking about, you know, buying Mercedes. And usually they have all kinds of snacks and stuff over here. But I don't see any snacks today. Usually there's like bagels and snacks, chips, chocolate bars, all that. I do have the coffee and some refreshments. That's the environment that their mechanics work in. I brought my DeWalt bag, my Black & Decker, well, same thing, they make them, bag, because in the summertime when you wear shorts with no pockets, got nowhere to put your stuff. So I just grabbed whatever bag, put my wallet, not my wallet, my phone, my tripod, you know, us YouTubers got to carry all this stuff around. So an advisor comes, checks out your car. Of course, I have a coupon for everything. So usually this place is packed with cars. I mean, just packed. I don't know, honestly, I don't know how people are surviving right now. I mean, there's at least 10 guys in there that are sitting in their offices doing jack squat, you know what I mean? Anyway, so they said my state inspection and oil change should take about an hour. I'm like, really? It's pretty fast. Usually they give you a loaner car if they think it's going to be more than that. I'm just gonna chill over here for a bit. So, like they said, about an hour. An hour and 15 or so. But they washed my car, which I desperately needed. And now it's ready. $201 later. So, New York State inspection's 37 bucks. Oil change is $166. $71 for the filter Perform oil filter change synthetic. $33 for an oil filter. Come on! Well, I'm home, and it's about time I work on this, putting two blown 17.5 Briggs engines together to make one good one. Got the good piston from that one to replace the bad piston. As you saw from the beginning, this piston area right here was just like chunked off, big piece just off. So hopefully this will fit. I mean, it fits. Hopefully it'll work, you know. Also, this didn't come with a head. I mean, it came with a head, but it was missing like the rocker arms and all that stuff. So I'm just going to use the head off of that one, just right here. In my previous episode, I've already cleaned up all the surfaces. I just got to put the whole thing together, you know. Got my gasket kit. I'll show it to you right now. So I've got my workspace all worked out. Put a big tarp over here so that the Earl doesn't drip all over the place. You know, it looks like it might rain, so that's why I have this thing over here. It's got little wheels on the bottom. You put all your crap over here and all the oil will just drain into there, you know what I mean? And then I could just pull it right into the garage if it starts raining. Anyway, a little water doesn't hurt an engine. Anyway, so here's my gasket kit, right? I got this on eBay for $10.50 or $11 with tax and all that. So I want to show you this. This is like the third time I bought it. When you pull this out, right, the gasket kit comes just like that. So it has a sump gasket, right? And the good part of it, it comes with a head gasket too. So the head gasket, sometimes you're gonna spend like $7-8 already. Sump gasket, you'll spend like $10 sometimes, you know? It's got the breather gasket here. It's got the top. I thought it had the, yeah, top and the bottom crankshaft seals. It's got a couple of valve seals too. Oh, a bunch of O-rings, which, oh, look at this red one, the red intake to carburetor O-ring. That's really worth it too. And it also has muffler gaskets, right? Muffler gaskets, intake manifold to engine block. This is the breather one, right? It's got a valve cover gasket. So this entire kit is only $11. I mean, you'll pay $11 for just a sump gasket sometimes, you know? So this is a good deal. It's the third time I bought it. I thought about staying in my regular clothes because I didn't think I would get that dirty. But when you're working with an engine, a reassembly of an engine, you know you're going to get dirty, right? So I had to change. Anyway, here we go. We're going to put this engine on top of this crate here so it's easier for me to work. Oh, listen. Don't forget to remind me to put the tappets back in here. You remember I had an episode where I put the whole engine together, right? And then I figured out, hey, what are these two tappets doing out here? Where did this come from? Holy... I forgot to put them in there. So they're in there right now. It's got some clean oil in it. I gotta wipe some stuff down. Use some brake cleaner. Clean that area again, even though it has been cleaned already. Just want to make sure. And then we're gonna insert the camshaft first. Line up the timing dots, right? Put the governor on. Put the gasket on. Put the sump on. Torque it down to 200 inch-pounds. And then translates to 18.3 foot-pounds of torque. Or I can just use my DeWalt and go nuts because that's all it usually takes, you know? So there we go, fellas. it took a whopping 3.5 minutes on time lapse, which is probably equivalent to about an hour and a half or 2 hours, just to put this thing together. You saw how meticulous I was about it, because I've made mistakes before, and I just wanted to double check, recheck, triple check everything before I put it in. And still, as you saw in time lapse, if you were paying close attention, I put the exhaust push rod on the bottom and then the steel one on the top. So then I had to stop and I go, wait a minute. So I thought about it, and I actually had to go Google it, and the aluminum one is always the exhaust. So I had to redo it again, switch it up, put the aluminum one on the top and the steel one on the bottom. As you also saw, I did a valve adjustment on it as well. I'm a little worried about that because the exhaust one was really, the intake one was really out of whack, you know? So, I don't know what the story is about that. Perhaps that's why that engine blew. Not too sure, but I'm pretty confident that I got this done right. This is a 31C707 engine, 17.5 overhead valve. I put a spark plug in here. This carburetor Nick gave me, it looked like hell. It was like mud covering the entire thing, right? A mixture between dirt and dried oil. And actually, I was expecting it to be completely trashed. But I just took off the fuel solenoid and took off the bowl. It was clean. And I did the test. I blew into it. You can blow. You flip it upside down. You can blow. So I think it just looked terrible. I actually think it might be clean. So I had a dickens of a time looking for a choke linkage, right? And I think this throttle linkage is a little bent, and it's a little stiff, actually, you know, which worries me too, because the governor. As you saw, I wanted to get the sump gasket on there perfectly, right? Because if you just put it on there without RTV, I just put a little layer, small little layer of RTV on there, just so it's sticky. It wasn't thick at all, right? I just wanted the gasket to stick there, because if you didn't have anything sticking the gasket onto the block itself, it would move around a little bit. Like one hole would be right, but the other 5 holes would be off by a little bit, you know, so I want it to be sticky there so that the holes are perfect, so that when you stick the bolts in there, it won't rip it on the sides, you know. So that's what I did. Sump gasket and sump cover went on really easily. Very surprised. Torqued all the bolts down with my DeWalt. The DeWalt is rated at 200 inch-pounds, which is equivalent to 18.3 foot-pounds, which is exactly what the torque is. I've done many engines, 3 engines with that DeWalt, and every time I just bolt it down until it doesn't move anymore, you know, multiple clicks until it can't move anymore. I also double-checked it with my torque wrench, and it's almost right on the balls, you know. As you also saw, I had to look for these bolts for the intake manifold. It was really tough. I put new gaskets on here from the gasket kit that I got, right? I wasn't going to do the carburetor, but I figured I might as well, right? Save some time. As you saw, I put the head gasket on perfectly. It didn't require any RTV or anything. Put the valve cover gasket on perfectly. I had to look for a head bolt that was exactly the same as the other head bolts. I put the dipstick in. Dipstick? Cletus, you dipstick. And I cleaned all the surfaces with this brake parts cleaner from my friends over at Lucas Oil Products. So I had a pretty good time putting this engine together today. We'll find out tomorrow when I mount this engine on the Craftsman LTS 1500, the one that I got for free. That's right, free. Had a better engine on it, but you know, we used that engine and the engine that Nick from Medford gave me. Used the head and the piston, put this thing together. Let's hope that carburetor doesn't just look clean, but seem clean, look terrible, but actually runs right tomorrow. It's a Walbro original, so it should have no issues, not like the Nickies, right? But I'll put the dipstick on. Got a spark plug, we'll put it in here, and I feel pretty good about the way I put it together, you know? So we'll mount it tomorrow. Today was a fun day. Indoors is not what I really wanted to do, but it was raining, so got to keep this stuff dry while you're assembling the engine. Thanks a lot for joining me on today's adventure to Mercedes-Benz dealer and putting together the 17.5 engine. We'll see you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.